Hey, good people, this is your NI Dom back with another YouTube reflection, and this is a personal journal for contemplative people looking to think, grow, and have impact in the world. So, hey, I'm here to try to do another 15-minute reflection, and I am responding to the same content. So, this is actually a YouTube response to the INTJ John. He did a podcast episode about INTJs loving ISTJs. And I'm not going to set this up. I've already done one recording. I named it TEFI Affair because in his particular, in the INTJ John's content, he talks about INTJs and ISTJs. You get to know them you meet them through the TE, but you get to know them through the FI. And that really resonated with me as I was trying to explain a work situation. But I also wanted to talk about how that relates to my family situation. Now I ran out of time. And then I wanted to there are 13 things that I'd like to talk about that came from listening to that content. And I won't have the time. But I'm going to try to do another reflection all the same, okay? To finish point one. If you're new to this project, this is a personal journal where I process my inner and my outer worlds. I do so by using personality theory, the two theories that I use the most are the Myers-Briggs and the Enneagram. Pushing those two systems together, I identify as an INTJ 8. I have a number of other disclaimers just so you'll understand how and why I'm showing up, but I'm going to delete those. But what you need to know for now is that this project is unedited and is unscripted. If you want to know more about it or me, feel free to go to my website at yournidom.wordpress.com or go to my podcast where I do longer form reflections at yournidom. Okay? All right. So I was in the middle of number one where I was just talking about that TE getting, you meet me through the TE, you get to know me through the FI, and I related that to work. I want to now talk just briefly, hopefully, about the family component because as I said in part one, which is I don't know what I was going to say, but as I said in part one is that I'm dealing with somebody in my family that's dealing with cancer, and I've not really named the person. I've kind of talked all about this individual, so if anybody's been really following me can probably figure out who this individual is to me. All right, that's not what I'm here to do, but I do want to say this because of who this person is to me. And because who this person is to me, and then who this person is to the family. And because this person is going through cancer, it is activating a lot of intergenerational stuff. All right. And there's no way to tackle that in 15 minutes. But what I want to say is this. This person has always accused, that's true. This person the other day accused me of being too sensitive. And I actually said, well, I'm sensitive. And this person said to me, yeah, I know. And so that's a negative thing. And so that's fine. So what it made me do is it made me think about when I was a little girl with this person. And I would be chastised when I allowed those feelings to show up. And I learned early that those feelings were a bad thing. Sometimes I wonder, okay, if I wouldn't have gotten that message about those feelings, would I have been more of an INFP? I don't know. Right. So then the other person that I follow on YouTube, who I call the INTJ academic, he says that I think his theory is that we were born with a set of values. We were born with all four of those cognitive functions. We value those cognitive functions out of 8. And then our life experiences then begin to tell us how to prioritize or put them in certain order. So I like that theory. But anyway, so the feeling part of me would show up. And then I would get a feedback from this particular person that was a bad thing. So I learned that that's bad, right? I also think I come from a space culturally as an African American that those feelings are pushed. I mean, if you think about the history of being black in America through the slave trade, that they could break up families and brutally break up families, that having a close relationship with those feelings just was not an algorithm or the right I'm going to just say algorithm for survival and sanity. So in order for us to be sane and we're just going to take those feelings. We're not going to have those feelings. And so what I was saying to my sister the other day, and I said this to her, I said, listen, because my sister and I mentioned this on my reflection on Saturday, that considering our relationship with this person that's sick and our relationship to the family structure and how we were raised to be in competition with each other, I think we're doing phenomenal. And we are fairly close. We're really, really close. But in the last few years, that closeness has taken a hit. We're not going to talk about that right now. We're not going to unpack that. But what I will say is that this week, for whatever reason, I don't know what happened this week, but this week was it really was a strain on me emotionally. I think that just I've been in interviewing, the job has been taxing, trying to care for this person as one of this person's caregivers has been taxing. And then my sister being remote in another state. And my sister is the chosen care person. Like, my sister is the chosen caregiver for this person. And navigating the fact that my sister's the chosen caregiver for this person. She's not in town. So I'm here. I'm not the chosen one. All of the messaging is about not being chosen. Yet there's the expectation that I function and I take on the labor of being the caregiver. It's a very fascinating thing. A very, very fascinating thing. So just this week, I was just like, I'm like doing some self-care. So when when this person first got diagnosed, when the person first got diagnosed with the illness, I was talking to my heart coach and I said, you know what, no matter what the history, I'm going to be dutiful. I'm going to be dutiful and I'm going to be honorable. I'm going to take care of this person. And I meant it and I still do. And so what I talked about doing, though, is do what I call dual care. I'm going to take care of this person. I'm going to take care of me. I will not let myself go just for taking care of this person. But on the flip side, just because I have had to learn that this person has never been able to take care of me emotionally, that's not going to stop me from taking care of this individual. We're going to do both. And I called it dual care. And I've been managing that. But this week, really it started last week, that dual care is starting to get recognition as problematic. And my sister became the voice of that. Yesterday, we had a pretty intense conversation, and it bordered on arguing, but we always laugh about, we can get through those difficult conversations because I think my sister and I are both academically trained and professionally trained, and there are a set of skills that we rely on to get through conflict that other people don't have those skills. So we just have very similar academic training, and professional experience, and so that allows us to have some shared skills so that when we have conflict, we rely on those skills and we get through, and we got through beautifully. But one of the things before, when she was accusing me of giving the impression that I'm upset or I'm being harmed and that no one is harming me. And so me feeling harmed is a perception issue. It's a perception issue, and she was having a problem with it. And God, I want to stay here. And we don't have time. I'm gonna have to bring this through my Sunday reflection this weekend. But and I kept saying, yo, what is this really about? I said, because here's what we're not going to do. To be human is to have a subjective reality, to have perceptions. We all have them. That is being human. What you're not going to do is you're not going to deny me of a very human experience to have my own subjectivity, to have my own perceptions. Now, what I don't have a right to do is to take my subjectivity, my own perceptions, and harm somebody else with them. Right? I don't have the right to harm somebody else because of my subjectivity. That I don't have the right to do, and I'm not doing it. I'm not doing that unless I am, and you need to tell me. But if me and my subjectivity, interpreting the world that way I need to interpret the world, it tells me to go and do self-care. It tells me to remove yourself from that environment and go do self-care. That shouldn't bother you or anyone else. So I need to know, why is that bothering you? Anyway, it took her a minute, but eventually she said it did. It was bothering her. And I said, that's the current here to this conversation, because I'm not sure why we're arguing about something that has nothing to do with you. We're arguing because, and what happened was, twice in the hospital room, I removed myself. I got up and I left. And the first time I didn't leave permanently, I left for about an hour, maybe an hour and a half, because I went to the car, went and got something to eat. I got in the car and I took a nap in the car. This person was in a 3-hour surgery. I left, I went to the car, and I took care. I just separated myself. And then the other day in the hospital room, this person is in recovery. And make a long story short, some people started coming in the room. There was already something happening before those people come in the room that I found taxing. But when some new people came in the room, I was just like, oh, hell no, I'm not getting ready to do all of this. And I left. But I didn't really know if I was permanently leaving, but I ended up permanently leaving. And apparently that hurt people's feelings that I left and I didn't do the fanfare goodbye and all of that. And so I left. And so apparently my sister not being there, being out of state, this made its way to her. And so she got the story through someone else's interpretation, someone else's subjectivity, and that probably hurt this other person. And I'm not mad about that. I'm not. But what you're not going to do is prioritize and rank their subjectivity over mine. We're not going to do that. So my sister and I, we really got through this. And I brought all of that up to say that, and this is what I told my sister, and this is why I brought this story up. I said, she was like, I don't understand how that environment is hurtful to you. I don't understand why you have to remove yourself from the environment. Why is it hurtful? And I said, that's fine. Because here's the deal. This is a very difficult experience, and it is horrible. And we just found out this person was diagnosed with stage 1. We just found out by surgery that she was misdiagnosed and is actually stage 3. This is horrible. I will not be in an environment where I cannot grieve. Now, here's the thing. And I'm going to connect this to John, and then I got to close because I'm probably already going to run out of time. I have functioned in that family as a TE, NITE, right? So either I'm TE and doing something, or I'm just sitting back and observing. Now that's a whole journey. There's a whole journey of how we've gotten here. I refuse to be flat in this time of deep pain and grief. I will refuse, and this is what I told my sister, I refuse to fight you and other people on attending to my feelings because of this environment that problematizes feelings. I said, we are a family that loves each other, but we don't have intimacy. We don't do vulnerability with each other, and we don't talk about those core hard places. And that's fine, but what I'm not getting ready to do is become a robot. I am not going to ignore my feelings, and I'm not going to burden you with my feelings. So I took my grieving, excuse my language, I took my grieving ass and I left out of the hospital room and I went into my car, or I went home to my place, and I can take care of myself there, and I don't have to ask anybody to take care of me. And I'm sorry if that offends you. Anyway, according to the INTJ, John, people are more comfortable in my family getting to know that aspect of me, but you can't handle really getting to know me through the FI. And it just makes me curious if other INTJs really struggle with that reality. You get to know me through the TE, you meet me through the TE, but you get to know me through the FI. What relationship keeps you at the TE when you have TE-FI? Because I think that's related to trauma. I really do. It keeps you at the TE, and you can't ever get to know me through the FI. Maybe bye. You can get out of here with that. But anyway, you guys, I'm running out of time. If this reflection has had any value for you, please give it a heart. You can find me on my website at youranidumb.wordpress.com. It's been a pleasure hanging out with you until I come back. Be well. Bye.